Maayong buntag. I wish I was fluent in Cebuano. Sadly, my Cebuano is quite limited. Kasambot man, dili lang magstoryaha. But my parents, Rodolfo and Lorna Relojo, who came all the way from Bulacan, are fluent in Cebuano. So they're kind of like my translators while I'm here. But first, I have to apologize because I'm not very formal, so I don't have a formal speech for you this morning. Instead, I have a kwento. Mahilig po ako magkwento, and I think kwento is more powerful because it's something that you're more likely to remember. So, here's my kwento. Ang alamat ng mangga. Noong unang panahon, may mag-anak na nakatira sa isang bayan sa Zambales. I'm just kidding. I want to share with you the story behind ICPCE, hindi po ang alamat ng mangga. So, I've been organizing conferences since 2018. This is, in fact, the 10th conference I've co-organized. I've organized conferences here in the Philippines, in the UK, in Romania, and in Malaysia. And just a few weeks ago, I was in Washington, D.C. at the APA, the American Psychological Association convention, where I delivered a workshop on organizing a conference. But I didn't just wake up one day wanting to be a conference organizer. For one, as an introvert, doing this doesn't suit my personality. I'm also aware that there are people out there who could do the job better. Organizing a conference involves a lot of work, and trust me, a lot of drama. Dr. Ronald Irog can vouch for that. And it's not just for the money. Most of the registration fees just go towards logistics, and if you've attended ICPCE in the past, you'll know that we have more affordable registration fees compared to other international conferences. But there are things that I've experienced in the past that led me to do this. I'm not going to name names. I'm sure you can work out which conference I'm talking about. And just to make it clear, I'm only sharing my personal experience. In 2015, I attended a psychological conference here in the Philippines. It was actually held here in Cebu at the Waterfront Hotel. In 2015, I was already living in the UK. I just finished my master's degree at that time, and I heard about that conference. So I flew all the way from London to Cebu to present my research. So ito na, first day of the conference. I still had a jet lag, but I was quite excited. First time ko kasing mag-paper presentation. At the registration, meron dalawang pila. One for local and one for international. So, of course, doon ako punta sa international kasi I was charged the international registration fee. And then the person at the registration desk, and I'm not exaggerating, with his Ateneo de Manila University lanyard, looked at me from head to toe and back. And then sabi niya, "So, feeling mo foreigner ka?" So I was thinking, wow, attitude. Bakit naman hindi man lang muna ako hinayaang makapag-explain? Presentable naman yung suot ko, tao naman akong lumapit. So sabi ko sa kanya, ay hindi po, Pinoy po. Yun nga lang po, dual citizen. I live in London and my affiliation is with the University of Hertfordshire. I finished my master's degree in the UK and I paid an international registration fee. That's why I'm standing in front of you. Nagtaray ang lola niyo. Now, don't get me wrong. Pinalaki po akong maayos sa mga magulang ko so hindi ko po ugaling magmaganda. But at that time, I felt it was necessary. Because that's not the kind of attitude you should give to any participants at the registration desk. Maski nga hindi sa conference, pag may taong lumapit sa'yo, dapat tao mo ring tatapuhin. Mukha man silang timawa o mukhang sosyalin. Hindi mo kailangang mag-aral sa mamahaling university to have good manners. But that's fine. I'm quite used to being treated like that. Hindi ako maputi, hindi ako mukhang yayamanin, Hindi ako mukhang pinagpalang nilalang. And this is the Philippines. Pasintabi po, but many people in our country are judgmental. We have a habit of judging books by their covers. We treat people on the basis of their skin tone, their accent, their social class, and the university where they come from. Prejudice, colorism, and bigotry in the Philippines are almost as distasteful as racism in America. But that's for another story. For now, let's stick with my story about that conference. Interestingly, that same day, I received an email from the organizers inviting me to a collaboration night. I replied to them that I would attend, and then I asked my friends if they were also going to that collaboration night. Sabi ng isang friend ko, ay hindi girl, narinig namin about that collaboration night, pero sabi exclusively for international participants lang daw yun. I've been on the receiving end of discrimination and prejudice because of my background. Laking squatter po ako. Security guard si tatay, mananahin ng basahan si nanay. Hindi ako graduate sa kilalang university rito sa Pilipinas. Hindi ako kutis mayaman and so on. But since I went to the UK to study for a master's degree and eventually became a British citizen, a lot of things have changed. It gave me certain privileges. I started to get noticed. Well, I got invited to a collaboration night simply because of my UK affiliation. So when I found out that the conference organizers specifically invited people because of their international affiliation, I decided not to go there out of principle. Because I don't want to be part of a system that excludes people on the basis of their university affiliation or the country where they come from. I have attended that conference several times, and one thing I consistently noticed was that most of the session chairs and the people given active roles come from just 4 or 5 universities. Yet, there are almost 2,300 colleges and universities in the Philippines. And if my source is right, almost 70 of them offer psychology degrees. Think about that. And I was thinking, bakit dun lang ba sa mga universities na yon meron marunong mag-chair ng parallel sessions o sila lang ba yung may mag-deliver ng workshops? But in spite of the bad vibes, I'm glad I attended that conference. Because that is the day sinabi ko po sa sarili ko, mag-iipon lang ako ng pera and someday I will organize a small conference where participants can feel more welcome. And lo and behold, 3 years later, I organized the first ever ICPCE at New Era University, which drew more than 500 participants from 11 different countries. And in the second year, we hosted a conference at University Sabah, Malaysia. ICPCE was born from these experiences. ICPCE is not here to compete with larger conferences, but to create a space where everyone gets a chance. Kasi alam ko po yung feeling of being left out. All I want is a conference where people from all sorts of backgrounds are represented. I want a conference where participants are given the chance to have an active role if they want to. We just don't attend conferences to listen to speakers. You can watch them on YouTube for free. We don't just attend conferences for the certificates. You can get them from Coursera, from world-class universities. We don't attend conferences to see how well-dressed people are, but just so people can show off to us how important or better they are. No. We attend conferences to network, to gain meaningful professional experience, and to foster research collaboration. And if conferences are just designed to favor certain participants because of their backgrounds or university affiliations, that's just wrong. That's why we want to keep ICPCE a small conference, because we want to give you a more intimate experience. Welcome po kayo rito, and we'll treat you with respect, and we will give you a chance to grow professionally. It's important for us all to remember that our work should be about access, not accolades. Siguro ito po yung first time nyo mag-present ng research paper. We accepted your submission because we wanted to give you a chance. And speaking of paper presentations, meron lang po akong munting paalaala. Hindi po madaling mag-present ng research sa harap ng ibang tao. So please give paper presenters, especially the undergraduate students and the first-timers, their credit. No research is perfect. So please don't use parallel sessions for debates and arguments o para magpakitang gilas kung gaano kayo kahusay sa stats o kung gaano kayo kagaling mag-Ingles. Instead, please give paper presenters polite and constructive feedback. It's a paper presentation, not a thesis defense. Nandito po tayo para matuto mula sa isa't isa, hindi para makipagkumpetensya o para magpakitang gilas. That's the kind of atmosphere I want to see at a conference. Siguro isa po kayo dun sa mga nag-request na mag-chair ng session o mag-deliver ng workshop kasi hindi nyo pa po na-experience yun. We want to be the conference that gives you that chance. I want an international conference where there are fewer barriers kasi alam ko po yung feeling na gusto mong umattend ng international conference kaso may visa at mahal yung flight at yung registration. That's why we host international conferences closer to the Philippines, and we make every effort to make ICPCE more accessible. I also want a conference where people are encouraged to have research outputs, and that's why we will have a research collaboration meeting. Everyone is welcome. Allergic po ako sa mga maeereng tao. I prefer people who are low-key, and that's why when I met Dr. Irog in 2019 in Malaysia, I said to myself, that's the person I want to work with. And I enjoy working with people from CIT University because you have warm personalities. So that's the story behind ICPCE, ang alamat ng ICPCE. And I want to thank you all for attending ICPCE 2023 because you're helping me shape the kind of international conference that you deserve. By attending ICPCE, you're not just attending a conference. You're joining a movement for more inclusive and collaborative conferences. Daghang salamat.